Hey guys! I had left a comment a couple of months ago on someone else's video, and it was pertaining to self-concept and self-affirming and how I do it, because someone actually happened to be interested in how I do it. So I thought, why not record a video on it? I think I explained a little bit about my story in the last video, which was that I had already been to therapy and my therapist had recommended me to actually do the exact same thing, which was to self-affirm, except he said that you charge it with an emotion. And the tip he had given me is to smile, right? He was like, when you're affirming things, just look at yourself in the mirror and smile. And I used to think, you were a bit skeptical in the beginning, and rightfully so, because it sounds a little bit absurd. You almost feel like, are you infantilizing me a little bit here? I didn't employ it. Your brain just wants to not follow what's good for you. No. However, funnily enough, after watching Sammy Ingram's videos, and I think I had started maybe late October, I started to watch her videos. Everything she was saying really did resonate with me so hard for a lot of reasons, and I could honestly make a whole video, another video on how much she specifically has helped me, and maybe that is a topic for another video. But going back to my personal experience with self-affirming for self-concept, I, like I said, wasn't really looking to get a desire out there, because I guess I didn't even have that much trust in the law, so to speak, to attain me that. So I just wanted to start off with smaller micro steps. Heck, it can't hurt to self-affirm just for self-concept. I don't think that Sammy also... I think she has actually made it a point in most of her videos. You don't even have to feel it, right? I think she makes that point, and she's correct in that. You actually don't have to feel it, because what happens is, after a period of time, you start to believe your own lies. But this time, those lies are working in your favor. Believe me, you really do start to believe yourself. Sure, in the beginning, your brain might be like, hang on a minute, but eventually you do believe it. Another thing my therapist had said at the time, we were talking about schizophrenics, right? You know, I have dealt with somebody, by the way, in my life who has suffered from schizophrenia. And so I was speaking to him about it, and he had said to me, you know, if the person's inner dialogue was one that was positive, then nobody would deem that person as being mentally unstable. The only reason that classed as being unhealthy is because it doesn't conform to the healthy, which is positive way of thinking. If someone is deluding themselves into believing they're the shit, then who's to stop you? I had gotten, I think it's mentioned in one of the books that I read, that happiness is not a morality issue. Happiness has got nothing to do with morality. Happiness is literally a state of being. It's a consistent, long-standing period of time where you are just content. It's just a state. And this is a message to myself. I mean, I don't do this anymore, but I would have loved for someone to tell me this back in the day. Happiness is not a question of morality. It doesn't matter if you deserve to be happy. Happiness can just be felt in this right moment. You can literally today think about things that make you happy, and they will make you happy. So don't turn it into a moral issue. Stop putting yourself in a box. Stop thinking that you deserve this to happen to you because you once did this. Stop it. Just stop. Stop. Bro, like, are you tired of just hurting yourself? When is it enough? It will never be enough. Anyway, going off a little off topic here. I remember back in November, I just started to affirm robotically. I mean, I was doing it briefly in October once I came across Sammy's videos. But I saw some changes around me conforming to my affirmations. So I did realize soon enough that there was some veracity in this stuff. However, I just wanted to go balls in. Why not? And I started to affirm in the shower. Mainly, I would do this right after I would wake up, shower, and just affirm like a robot. And it started to make me feel really good. And I just did it because of the feed. There was nothing to attain outside of that. It wasn't contingent upon any conditions or external factors. I wasn't looking for an outcome from this. The stuff I was saying to myself just to big myself up was a little absurd, but why not? I did this for about 2 weeks consistently, maybe. I just started to do most of the things naturally that my therapist prior to that had advised me to do, or suggested rather. I would be staring at myself in the mirror, but this time I actually felt it. I actually believed what I was saying. This is where it gets interesting. I remember having a brief thought at the time that it would be cool to date a writer. Don't know why. Just wanted to. And so I remember I had to go to London for an appointment I had. It was like the most obscure place, right? And this guy approached me. So we made eye contact, didn't think anything of it. He goes up the stairs, comes back down the stairs, and then asks for my number. He was very complimentary towards me. Actually, he said something to me specifically that I had been affirming to myself robotically in the shower, which was so funny. I think maybe that was the thing that made me give him my number. I'm not the type of person to give my number out to a stranger. I don't know what inspired me to give it. I think it must have been the fact that because my reality just kind of conformed to my inner speech. So I felt compelled to. Maybe got to do with the fact that I've just started to self-affirm. But again, you know, sometimes, hey, a girl gets asked for her number, like it's not that big of a deal. I went home and I received a text from him and we were just talking. Now, I also realized prior to talking to him that I was affirming that I wish I could meet somebody with like similar interests. I didn't even think I said I wish. I think I had literally declared it. I have a lot of common interests with people. Anyway, so me and him start to talk. He reveals to me that he's a writer, and that's when it just kind of clicks in my head and I was like, whoa. Bear in mind, never dated a writer before. I don't think I've ever even known a writer in my life, right? It's just so not what I go for. I just said it for the fun of it. I haven't got anything against writers, by the way. It was just something so out of the blue, right? So then we started to talk about manifesting, how he has not a manifesting coach, but like a life coach who teaches how to manifest. It reminded me that I had actually affirmed for this, just never spoken about manifesting with people to that detail, or I've never met somebody who practices it like myself, because I'd only just gotten into it myself properly I mean. So that happened. Nothing really came out of that. I mean, for other reasons. I wasn't really looking to date anybody. It was just something I said for the heck of it. It was just funny how that just happened so fast within those 2 weeks. So fast forward, I had gained a little bit of confidence, right? So now I was affirming like crazy. I was affirming and saying things like, I'm a fucking goddess. I kid you not. There were so many incidences that happened in the span of that month where people were reflecting that to me. One particular incident I remember, this was a wild one. I was in London because I had another appointment. I was in Blackfriars, place I've been to plenty of times before, but for some fucking reason, I got lost. I was like, shit, fuck. My phone was dead, so no way to navigate me back, and it was super cold, super late at night, didn't know what to do. I'm walking, I'm just trying to find my way back to my station. I saw a group of people and I walked up to them and they were German, did not speak English very well, and I was fucked, I thought at least. Somehow, some way, found my way back to London Bridge, which isn't too far off, but I needed to be navigated back to a station so I could catch my train back to my station. I saw a guy and I approached this guy, random guy, approached him and, you know, just asked him for direction. I was like, look, I'm lost, my phone's dead and this and that. I need to catch my last train because if I miss it, I'm fucked. Bro, this guy treated me like I was a fucking goddess. I'm not even joking. I don't mean to come across as arrogant here, or might be to some people in this video. I'm not going to go deep into some of the things he was saying about me, but he was super complimentary. Even some of the other things we talked about. By the way, I was with this guy for like an hour and a half, and if you're wondering how did that happen, he happened to be worse with directions than I am. And that's a shocker because I have no sense of direction sometimes. But I guess that played into this whole thing of self-affirming because it gave us time, it gave us room to have conversations and so on that would reflect some of my inner dialogue around that time. And he was talking about things that I'm interested in. Again, he was reflecting back to me some of the things I had already affirmed. So it's like, this is so bizarre. This was all for fun, right? I just did it for fun. And I was really only doing it, bear in mind, because it felt good. It felt good to self-affirm because I don't have that bad of a self-concept anyway. But it just goes to show that when you really, that's your focus and that's what you're sort of nourishing, you really see the impact of it very quickly in your reality. And I guess I did see it so quickly with that more specifically because, well, first of all, I don't really have a bad self-concept. But second of all, I don't have resistance towards myself. Like, my belief is that I'm really comfortable with strangers. I don't really get social anxiety in that way. So that also kind of plays into the other affirmations that I was newly affirming. Those were the two big incidences that kind of hit me in this face in that month. And I was like, I am not doubting the law. There is something in this. I started to focus on other things after that because, I mean, this is like all kind of like fun, superficial stuff. After that, I had bigger goals. Let's just put it that way. I had bigger goals. And even with that, I had a lot of fun with it, even achieving some of my other goals here and there. Like, I've just had fun with it, and I'm not gonna lie, sometimes it was fucking hard, but I had to just remind myself that key is just to have fun. You can't get too caught up on the signs. I have a really bad habit of manifesting signs. If I see a number, what will happen is that I'll get too caught up on the numbers and I'll keep manifesting those numbers again and again and again, and then I'm just like, I think Alan Watts is the person who said this, like, you cannot get too caught up on the signs, but really focus on where you're actually headed. You have to still continue on, again, going back to Sammy Ingram, until you don't receive whatever it is that you desire. Don't quit, my dear. I'll have fun editing this because it's been 20 minutes since I've been recording this.